Within this full moon in Taurus, we are looking at what needs to be completed, where our relationships have not been equal, where something's come in from the 7th of September to show you with that eclipse energy in Pisces, where you didn't feel safe, where relationships, whether that's partnerships, career, the relationship you have with yourself, is all about value, self-worth. Something's coming back now to be completed. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. We have a lot of planets, big planets ending out big karmic cycles in Pisces right now. And this next few weeks, they are going to be digging deep to dissolve some old wounds, dissolve situations internally and externally from your life. And with this full moon in Taurus, it's going to ground something, some kind of stability and realization is coming into your world. It's all about the material falsity. What I mean is, where have you just done things out of a fear of not being good enough, your self-worth, your self-value? This full moon is going to highlight things that need to be cleansed, released within you, and it'll show up in relationships too. And why I say this full moon is in Taurus, ruled by Venus. And the new moon that we had 2 weeks earlier, it was in the sign of Libra, who also is ruled by Venus. So this has come up in the last 2 weeks, situations where you've had to go within. We've been in a heavy water trine, meaning we've got a lot of planets in the sky right now that add to this moon energy. They're very deep, subconscious, possibly going back to childhood and ancestral lineage. The Venusian themes are money, self-love, value, relationships, partnerships, equality. And in the sign of Taurus, this is where we are needing now stability, practical steps. So as we look within the depth of our psyche, because the sun, the opposite sign of Taurus, is Scorpio, and that's asking us to look deep. This is where we're going to face fears. We're going to dissolve things that no longer serve us, because what we're entering into is a brand new chapter and a brand new version of ourselves. And come February 2026, we'll have stepped into there. But for now, this big Pisces energy is dissolving. So if your energy is being challenged, if your life's challenged right now, there's luck coming in. I like to see this energy, it's Sagittarius, and we have a lot of planets in Scorpio, but they're gradually moving to the next sign, which is Sagittarius. And as one by one they do, so for instance, the sun is in Scorpio up until about the 21st, 22nd of November, then it'll step into Sagittarius, fire. We have Mars today, at the same day, there's this full moon, stepping its toes in Sagittarius. We have Mercury just joined the Sagittarius party. So one by one, we're coming out the depths of the ocean. We're coming out the depths of our psyche, our subconscious, our shadow, the underworld, as I call it. And we're stepping into the light. We're stepping into this, luck is on your side. But first, it's showing us some areas that it's too heavy to carry anymore. So if things are coming in and they're confusing you guys, and you're not in this energy of flow, ease and grace, you're on target. As difficult as it might be, we're in the depths of the psyche to cleanse. Remember, Pisces is the ocean. It's ruled by Neptune. It's the god of the sea. He's coming in to cleanse, release. Just look at the world. We're having lots of flooding, water, the weather. It's all coming to cleanse. And it's coming down to us on a personal level, but not to worry, because the answers you need are coming. We have here your Gemini energy, the mind, ruled by Mercury. The answers are coming, and it showed up in this full moon reading. So don't be surprised if some answers start coming in, especially with these planets one by one entering Sagittarius. Welcome guys, welcome to my channel. I'm going to be doing an intuitive reading for the full moon in Taurus, happening on the 5th of November. The sun is always have a counterpart. It's the opposite to the moon, so it's going to be in Scorpio. So we're going to bring on them themes of Scorpio, which I've mentioned, going into the depth of our psyche. But also Taurus, it wants to simplify our life. It wants to bring in stability and get rid of some of this material falsity that's been in our shadows. So anything to do with money, love, any insecurities around those areas are going to be coming up to be cleansed and released. So I'm going to be pulling a few energy cards, oracle cards, then I'm going to clarify, but I'm going to ask some specific questions. And the first question is going to be, what is the energy of this full moon for the collective? And what do we have here? We have a time to take action, Aries, energy, and you're very close to achieving your goal. So there's that energy I was talking about. But before we get there, we've got to delve into the psyche to release the shadow, because we don't want to take the shadow with us, the darkness. Now, that's not to say, let's just pretend the darkness is not there, because we grow with the darkness. We grow and it brings light to the darkness. So we have to look at our dark shadows, our things that we fear. And it's asking us to take on the Aries energy. It's asking us to dive deep into the courageous energy and light our fire again. Burn through. Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. And I mentioned February 2026. This is where there's 2 planets that have not been there in our lifetime, and probably it's a very rare astrological energy where they're at a 0 point in Aries. Aries, as I said, is the brand new chapter. It's the Fool. It's taken that leap of faith. It's the 0 point. And before we get there, we're saying we're very close, but there's some things that might be getting dissolved. Now, as I structure this, as I say, I'm going to go into the current energy of the moon, which I've already started to do so. And I think I want to bring these energies in, because this is what I tapped into before I came on camera. And this is the Mars energy. Now, what's interesting to me is, firstly, Mars rules Aries, what I've spoke about just now, where the new chapter's coming in, and we're getting the courage now from Mars, our masculine drive. But this card represents a man holding a spear, which is interesting because the symbology for Sagittarius is the centaur with a bow and arrow. It is pointing it in a direction of your future. So this is saying your physical energy drives strength and lightning spirit. So we have now got, and it showed up here, with this full moon, to take on some courage from Aries, from Mars. Yes, I'm going to do it. Yes, I'm going to strive. And remember where the sun is. It's in the sign Scorpio. Scorpio has 2 rulers. It has a traditional ruler and it has an ancient ruler. Now, the ancient ruler is Mars. The traditional is Pluto. So again, there's that Mars energy. Scorpio's going into our depths and he's saying, I'm going to face these fears. So whatever fear you're going through right now, this is where you want to break free from. This is where we are breaking free from, whether that's physical, a fear of ill health, a fear of lack of money, fear of lack of love, abandonment, rejection, whatever it might be, where you felt separated from the world. Mars has given you the strength now in Scorpio to push forward. Beautiful. And this is where unexpected. Expect the unexpected. Uranus is the lightning bolt. Uranus will come in and it will destroy anything that needs to be changed. So these could be, you might already be in this, and I have a feeling most of you are, unexpected change. Remember, the answers you need are coming, the card that I pulled earlier on. This could be in the form of communication. Because Uranus right now is retrograde, meaning going back over. And it's in the sign of Gemini. And then it will step its toes into Taurus to revisit some things. That's what this planets do when they're in retrograde. They revisit the old. So there's some old mental energy that you are revisiting, some old thoughts, some old conversations, words that you speak to yourself, some critical thinking about how you speak to your body, your mind, where you've been in fear and lack. It's all coming up to be changed. And here's Aquarius energy. And this card says, this energy is freedom-loving, rebellious, idealistic, and technological. Now, we all know there's big changes to do with technological energies. AI has taken over the world. And there's been a lot, and I've been sat with this energy too, in my little community, about how we are addicted to technology and how it can distract us. Again, there's that Gemini energy of too much information, our mind being scattered. So this is where you might have to break free from some old patterns where we've been addicted and distracted. Pisces, and I'm bringing in Pisces energy because that's the card that came up at the beginning of that full moon eclipse energy was in Pisces, and it wants us to go back there. Pisces is the Buddha. Pisces is the spirituality. Pisces is the silent mind. He is, or she is, the sitting in silence, the solitude. But if we are filling our head full of YouTube, full of Instagram, full of fear from news, radio stations, people, gossip, you're very distracted and your energy is going to be scattered. And this is where something might be coming in. It might just be an unexpected lightning bolt that comes in. Yep, I now need to have more discipline with my phone, with my ways of meditating, my spiritual practice. I need to dedicate more time and find the balance. Funny enough, there's Pisces. And this is the energy is wistful, endlessly loving, compassionate and forgiving. So guys, I've gone around the houses there with that current energy of this moon, but this is what it's wanting us to say. You're very close to achieving your goal, but you might have to cut out distractions. You might have to put some boundaries in place, but it's all coming up with this Taurus full moon. And remember, it's simplify your life. So I'm going to ask the next question now, and it is, what needs to be released with this full moon? Now I'm going to bring in my tarot for this. I'm going to bring in the tarot to ask what needs to be released. This will give me an area in our world as a collective that wants to show up. I'm going to pull 3 cards. 3 cards. What needs to be released? 2 of Pentacles. There's us juggling life. Robbing Peter to pay Paul. Juggling one job to another. Eating a sandwich while hoovering up. Moving, juggling, doing a great job, by the way, but it's saying this is a distracting energy. This is too much. This is too heavy. You're needing to slow down. You're needing to go in the depth. If you can see, you've got mountain. No, you haven't. You've got the waves up and down, the sea. It wants us to go up with the flow, down with the waves, really tapping into, oh, right, okay, I'm getting something coming in here. I keep jumping all over the place, guys. Just keep up with this story because this is how I read my cards. This is my new deck, another new deck. Yes, I know. That's my little addiction, is new decks. So we pulled Matt, and she says, the neutral truth, balance, and divine integrity. This is a gorgeous priestess oracle. Absolutely beautiful energy. It's so powerful. And I've only just got it today, so I'm very new with the energies. But she holds the scales of justice. She is like the Libra, the scales of justice, where it wants to something wants to come into balance into your world. Now remember, Libra's ruled by Venus, and along with Taurus. Something to do with love, money, relationships is coming in to be balanced. Now remember, this is all, our relationships just mirror. Our thoughts just mirror a part of us. So there's something coming in. And what came up with this, guys, to help us is the system of Isis. I'm just showing you these cards because they've got gold on them, and they're just absolutely gorgeous. The light probably doesn't reflect that. Hope you can see it. So this is the sacred instrument, divine sound and path clearing. So again, when we're sat, instead of being on the phone, getting distracted by life through funny posts, through the drama of life, this is saying sit, put some music on. The solfeggio frequencies, I'm really getting into those at the minute, and they're frequencies that can align our different states of our brainwaves, and they can bring some peace to our nervous system. Singing bowls, sound baths, meditation. Every night I go to bed and I have a speaker in my bedroom and I put it on timer. So when I fall asleep, my music will play at a certain solfeggio frequency whilst I'm sleeping. And the intention is for me, whilst I'm sleeping, to balance my nervous system, my energy, and release anything that no longer serves me. So it's something simple, but this is asking you to go into some kind of sound healing. At the end, guys, I am going to pull another one of these for the intention of what it is that's the gift from this full moon. I mean, just look at these. Just beautiful energies, beautiful cards, absolutely gorgeous. So stay tuned till the end for a special message that's going to come in and give us a blessing. So with this energy, I'm going back now to what needs to be released. juggling life. As I've mentioned, we can do that by sound healing. The Five of Wands, internal conflict. What else do we have? Six of Swords. I like to see that. That's like an Aquarius energy, balancing our mind. So these cards here, let's bring them close. What needs to release? We need to release the Two of Pentacles. Like I've mentioned, he's robbing Peter to pay Paul. His body is tired. He's in this constant loop of life, juggling Peter to pay Paul. Life is just hard. You get up in the morning, you go to work in the dark, you come home in the dark. It's just work, work, work. It's saying it's time now to quieten your nervous system, to go into this beautiful moon energy and simplify your life. Again, simple thoughts. I've mentioned about how we create something, and there is something that wants to take us away. The answers you need are coming, but it wants us to be our own inquiry. Where are my thoughts scattered? Where can I bring peace to myself? Where can I just still bring my mind with stillness, peace with stillness? Because there's an internal battle going on. And for some of you, this could be external battles. Remember, everything is mirrored to us, what needs to come up for balance. And if there's a lot of conflict coming up in your world and there's some heaviness coming in, there might be an internal fear that's trying to get your attention. So this is what it's saying here. The Five of Wands is a fire. It could also bring up words of anger, words of spoken. Okay, this also could be where we're holding on to anger. We're holding on to anger in our nervous system. And along the way, we have been programmed to believe we are not worthy of peace, of happiness, of joy, of fun, of laughter, of abundance, whatever that might be. So we're always in this fight or flight. And this is asking us to drop them battens, reprogram our mind, face the fears. 80-90% of fears are just that. They usually never come true. It is just the fear of them happening that has been stored in our memory, that's either been lived or been passed down to us. And our nervous system is always in this fight or flight, this constant conflict. So that's going to show up in your external world. We have a choice. We can turn the telly off and cut out that noise. We can put our phone down and not be distracted. We can keep ourselves in that fight or flight and that chaos. We always have a choice. And I'm going to go back to this one here, the infinity symbol. That's the infinity loop. And that is one of the most powerful, in my opinion, the most powerful healing symbol, because it's a transformation. It's the number 8. And funnily enough, Scorpio energy is represented by the 8th house of power. But it transforms. There's something that you can transform at this time. But it all starts with your mind and how you're thinking. Are we thinking worst case scenario? Are we thinking of the future and the past? It wants you to go into that Pisces energy, as I've mentioned earlier, that came up with that eclipse back on the 7th of September. Calm your nervous system. Find the inner peace no matter what the chaos is going. Remember the up and the down of the waves. Ride those waves, but ride them with peace and know and think that you're going to be okay. Because remember, we're all clearing. So at the minute, there's a lot of things coming up. For most of us, some of us might be already there. Brilliant if you are. But some of us that have got some clearing to do before we get into this new cycle, February 2026, we've got some detoxing, some dissolving to do. Let's now get into the last question, which is, what Venusian blessings are awaiting for us with this full moon in Taurus? Let's see what the tarot is wanting to bring in. What are the blessings? Whoa, look at that. Celebration. The Knight of Swords, very quick. Remember I mentioned Uranus earlier on, the lightning bolt, quick thinking. Once you think differently, you just think how quickly the situation can move from a negative to a positive. Page of Swords, there's the gossip. There's some old immature thoughts that you might be stuck in your nervous system that are waiting now to be dissolved. Interesting energy at the bottom. I'll speak about that in a moment. So we have here the Three of Cups. Remember, this is our blessing. We've got an opportunity to, this is emotional because it's cups energy, it's water. This is three women, the feminine, celebrating life. This is Cancer energy, it's Mercury in Cancer. And she's saying, the mind is about a celebration, about fun. Where have you got this old mentality that you're not worthy of fun, joy, happiness? Where's your little inner child at? Lots of questions, I know, but just ask yourself these questions. Where have I gone? Where have I got stuck? Where's some old fears that my little inner child is stuck at? I almost want to, I feel like this is like a knight in shining armor coming in. I feel like this is Archangel Michael coming in with his big sword to cut you and free you from some old dense energy. And if you get cut, guys, it stings initially, but then it heals. It's coming to cut you free from something, from the past. It wants to dissolve some old, internal, external thoughts, habits. Wow. Okay. Let's go on. So the blessing is, I feel like this is the blessing, the Seven of Pentacles. Now, the 7 isn't a 10. So in Tarot, we go from 2 of Pentacles, say, because this is the Pentacles, right up to 10. 10's a completion. So we're not yet at a completion. We can see we're at number 7. We're nearly there. We're nearly there. You're very close to achieving your goal. 7 of Pentacles. 10 of Pentacles. Where is it? We might be getting impatient. But this is saying, go into that Pisces energy. Trust, compassion for yourself, compassion for others. Rather than being that fiery anger, going into the fear, going more into that feminine trust. There's something you're learning to do with this energy. 7 of Pentacles is Saturn in Taurus. You are learning, Saturn teaches us, about the Taurian energy, which is self-love, self-value. How you value your relationships, how you are valued in a relationship. Where have you been the people pleaser? Where have you been taught of external validation where well done for external material acknowledgement, meaning where were you always seen if you got good results at school? Well done, you were the top of the class. So you were seen by the teacher. That then made you feel worthy. Where was it in your tribe, your family life, where you were that sibling or you felt as if you had to be that sibling that got the best results? Or you may not have got the best results. You might not have been as good as a other sibling. Where in your life are you at work and you are always comparing yourself to others about how much you work, how much you've got in the bank, how many certifications you've got? If you're self-employed, how many likes on Facebook, how many views on Instagram? It doesn't mean anything. You're not measured by that. You're measured by an internal frequency of love, self-love, self-value. And this is a deep energy that's coming up with this Taurus full moon. And why is it coming up? It wants you to gain confidence in your feminine wisdom, your feminine fire. You are not bothered what other people think of you. You're standing in your truth. And you're a magnet because people can see you looking beautiful, sexy, gorgeous from the inside out. And you ooze confidence, strength and passion, creativity and drive. There's something that you have learned, especially this year, about who you really are. And that's then going to bring in this energy here, which is Venus and Aries. This is the four. Oh, okay. This is the Four of Wands. This is my 1111 card. You can see here 11, 11, 11, 11. We're in November, and 1111 is a big portal. It's stability, manifestation. So for some of you, expect change by the 1111 energy. You're going to feel confident. You might not have all the answers, but there's going to be an internal shift, which is beautiful. And that internal shift is this energy here. This is Venus in Virgo. Now, Venus in Virgo, we had that big eclipse in Virgo, again, next to that Pisces eclipse energy. We have eclipses twice a year, and they last a little bit longer. But Virgo energy came in to break you free from some old perfectionism. For some old habits, whether that's health habits, she rules that health, digestion, where we've been holding on to some old negative thought patterns, critical self-thinking. Might even to do with work, to do with how you measure yourself. Again, I spoke about these earlier. They come from old material falsities, where we've been measured, again, on our achievements. We've got the Hermit. This again is Virgo energy. When we have these internal habits that are no longer serving us, that can be stored within our body. And this is where we're going within, delving into the moon, but also delving into where that sun is in Scorpio, into our psyche, to release, heal, gain some wisdom. And you are that light in that lantern. You have gained a heck of a lot of wisdom. And now it's time to allow, to calm, to heal, to allow the flow, and what needs to go, to go. Now, as promised, guys, I'm going into my brand new deck, which is the gorgeous Priestess Oracle, and pull one final card. Full Moon in Taurus. If you're liking this, guys, do hit that subscribe button. It's on the right or the left-hand side. It's a little red box. It's free, but it does help you get notified of future readings. What is the message for this full moon in Taurus? Priestess Oracle, what do we have? Anubis and the moon. Look at these gorgeous cards. And the sun. Oh, wow. So again, I mentioned the sun. Sun and the moon are opposite each other with a full moon. The sun in Scorpio, delving deep into our psyche, and the moon into our emotions. That's where we're going to get the energy from here. And we're going through a transition. So this is Anubis. This is Anubis, and he is the god of transition, divine protection, and safe passage. Wow. Scorpio season is always, obviously it's in Halloween season, so that's where they say the veil is thinnest. So this is the rite of passage. It's the sign of the death and the rebirth. There's an old version of you that's died, and now you've got the rite of passage to step into and transition into the new you. And this says you have got the spiritual protection of Anubis for a safe passage through. Wow. Let's look at that card. Okay, guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Take good care.